Good morning, guys. Sorry I'm a few minutes late this morning. That's one of the good and bad things being an entrepreneur. You don't really have a specific schedule, so you work a lot, but it's pretty much when you want. So Coco and I are heading out this morning, and I promised you an amazing inspirational story. You're going to love it. My mom, who will be 89 years young next week, actually, is the hero of this story. Okay, so when I was 9 years old, which would be like 1976, back in East Texas, I'm 51, so you don't have to do the math. Back in East Texas, one day I was picked up at school by my brother and his wife, which was a little odd. They lived in Shreveport, Louisiana, about 40 miles away, so they didn't normally just pop in and pick me up. Now, my brother was 19, almost 19 when I was born, so he was an adult by the time I got here. So he and his sweet wife, Kay, picked me up at school, which was quite a treat. And I was really excited. So they go, well, let's go by Dairy Queen. Let's go to Dairy Queen and get an ice cream. I thought, man, this day just getting better. So we go to get our ice cream, and while we're sitting there, I'll never forget, my brother just casually goes, oh, by the way, Mom was robbed today. And I looked at him like, no, she wasn't. Because I'm thinking, no one would tell someone that way, something like that in that way. And I look at Kay like we all do, right? We all look at the woman in the group because guys like to tease. So I looked at Kay and she's like, yeah, no, it's true. So my eyes, of course, are getting big. I'm thinking, my mom got robbed. What do you mean? Well, so then they kind of start telling me the story. Okay, my mom, we lived out in the country in Marshall, Texas at a place called Shadowwood Lake. Had a guard at the gate. I'm not sure if they did at that point. Maybe there wasn't a guard. I bet it was in the earliest days and there wasn't a guard. Beautiful little lake in East Texas. If you've been to East Texas, you know it's so pretty there. Pretty lake, and most of the houses, all of the houses really were on one side of the lake. Then there was a big, long dam you could drive across to get to the other side of the lake. There was one little old house that had been built up in there, but then we were the first ones to buy on the other side of the lake and start building. So we started building. My folks did. They built a beautiful A-frame house. My mom had always wanted an A-frame, and she said it's got to be in the mountains or the lake, so let's go to the lake. Even though she can't swim, didn't care about the water. So we went, and it was a beautiful home. So what happens, according to the gentleman later, is he says he really went out there to show his nephew a beautiful home across the lake. Because you could see it. Beautiful. I'm going to do a proper podcast eventually, and maybe even today I can pull something. I want to show y'all some photos of this because it's great. My dad had built it with his hands. My mom had put the shingles on. He built a scaffold where you could actually raise her up, and she put the cedar shakes. Large Diet Coke, please. Large Diet Coke? That's it. Yeah, my mom put the shingles on this house. Pretty incredible. They both did, but anyway, so the guy goes in, and so my mom doesn't know, of course, all this has happened. She's been out running errands for the day. She drives up to the house, again, very remote, and she sees the door has been hacked in. So a normal person does what? You get in your car and you run like the wind. No, my mom goes, what have they done to my house? By herself, in the country, barges into the house with the door hacked down. Well, there's no car there, so she's thinking whoever it is gone. Well, interestingly, he comes around the corner. He's still in the house with a hatchet in his hand. So we had been doing some building, and he didn't have a weapon with him, so he was probably telling the truth. But he got there, and my dad, the hatchet for putting the shingles on the roof. So the guy grabs the hatchet, hacks the door down, and starts taking, cutting up TV wires and all that type thing to take them, because they were kind of hardwired in back in the day, So she comes in there, and he comes around the corner, and she says, literally, the first thing I said to him was, I've got good insurance. Take what you want and get out of my house. Very nervy one. So he tells her, he goes, you go upstairs and get under the bed. She's thinking, the worst at this point, but she thinks, under the bed? He goes, under the bed. So she goes upstairs to one of the guest rooms up there, and she starts to get under it. Well, it's not like today when all our beds are so crazy tall, right? It was very short. So she lifts the dust ruffle, and she's getting under there best she can. He comes upstairs, and he goes, I told you to get under the bed. She lifts up the dust ruffle and goes, I'm in as far as I can go. So she puts the dust ruffle back down. I guess he accepts this answer at this point. He goes, where's your guns? Because we live in Texas. He knows we got guns. Sure enough, we had a secret closet. You could go through my mom's closet, and there was a secret closet within her closet. So she told him where to go find the guns. She goes, I don't know why I did that. But she told him. So he went, couldn't find him because it was a very confusing secret closet. He comes back up, he goes, I can't find him. She gave him more directions, back down to get the gun. She hears him ruffling around down there. He even took my brother, who had been killed years before, which I'll tell you that story one of these days. He actually took my other brother Gary's gun, which was terrible. But anyway, he comes back up, he goes, okay, I got the guns now. Don't you call the police for 20 minutes. Don't call the police for 20 minutes. This is negotiating robber, I don't know. So he leaves. She thinks she hears him leave, but you know, you're wondering, is there another one? Are they hidden? Is he faking me out to see if I want to come downstairs? Finally, she goes, you know, I just can't lie here. I got to get up and do something. So being my mom, she gets up and starts searching the house. First, she goes to where her hidden gun was. She told him where the main gun closet was, but like any good Texas woman, she's got a pistol, as she called it, under her mattress. So she goes down to her room, gets the pistol from out from under the mattress, and searches that house, closet to closet, opening every door to see if someone's behind there. I would just be getting in the car and running. No, she's going through the house, mad that someone has dared to break in. So she goes through, he's not there, she's so happy. She says, about this time, yeah, that's it. About this time, she hears a knocking at the door, the hack down door. So she goes out there, and she hears this younger voice going, lady, can I help you? Is anyone home? Can I help you? So she comes around, got her pistol. She comes around the door, peeks him through the kitchen where he's out through the door that's been hacked down, and he's leaning. Thank you. He's leaning up against the ladder because again, my dad had been doing some work, some shingling outside. He's leaning against the ladder, and he goes, ma'am, I'm just here trying to help you. Do you need something? She goes, son, that may be, but you in the wrong place at the wrong time. And he goes, lady, I'm so scared I could run. He leans over on the ladder. She goes, I cocked it and I let it wobble just a little. And she goes, I wouldn't if I was you. And she goes, he's about to pass out. At this point, she goes and calls her sister, my aunt, Charmaine, my Mimi, and tells her, she goes, well, Char, I've been robbed, and I promised I wouldn't call the cops for 20 minutes, but I didn't say I wouldn't call you. So she's keeping her word, good Texas woman. She's got her sister on the phone. She is holding this young guy at gunpoint. And this is my favorite part. She goes, well, I knew Jimmy and Kay were coming over and were going to have dinner with us, and I was cooking beans. So with her left hand, she gets the spoon, and she's stirring the pot of beans so they don't stick and burn on the stove. She salvaged the beans, y'all. We had beans for dinner. Who does this? Who holds a man at gunpoint, has someone on the phone, and is stirring a pot of beans? That's what we women do, right? Am I telling the truth? I think you guys know it's true. She is stirring them beans. So then, sure enough, before the cops even get there, my Uncle Kelly arrived. A few minutes later, my dad gets there, the police get there, and they end up they go looking through. What happened is, this guy was his getaway. So he had parked his car way down, and when the uncle didn't show up on time, where he should have been, the guy got panicked. So he came looking for his uncle, and he was the getaway driver. Hello, thank you. So the funny thing is, the guy goes running off through the woods. His nephew luckily comes, so we're able to apprehend him at that point. And then they go and they are able to catch, what's his name, the criminal guy out running through the woods. So they arrest him. They did recover the guns, which was great. Those were later lost on a storage unit break-in, so that's kind of a sad story. But in any event, they caught him. They went on trial. They gave him 25 years to life. I've got the newspaper article about the whole thing. I need to show y'all that. And the beauty is, my mom says they had her on the stand, and the defense lawyer, I can say this being a lawyer, you know, you got to do what you got to do. He's trying to represent his client. He holds up the hatchet, and he goes, Miss Jordan, this is just a tool of trade, right? It's not a weapon. It's a tool of trade. She said, I looked at him and I said, would you repeat that? And he said, yes, ma'am. This is a tool of trade. She goes, well, all I knew was anything that thing hit wasn't going to live. That's all I knew. Needless to say, they sent him up the river to the big house. And I'm sure he did his full sentence. I never checked up on him. Maybe I should have. But so that is my fun, inspirational story of the day. My mom is just the craziest. She's amazing. She's tough. She's taught me everything I know. And if you've heard me at all in some of my beginning talks, I've said the reason I have the audacity to have a series like this, And let's face it, to be an entrepreneur or to do anything I'm doing, you have to be a little audacious, am I right? You have to have a little nerve to presume that anyone cares what you have to say. It's easy for me because I said the main reason I have to do this is if I leave this planet someday without sharing as much of the wisdom of this amazing woman that I can, that would be a crime. I absolutely have got to get some of these things out because what she taught me in life, well, it's pretty much everything I know. Both of my parents were great teachers. If I was with them, they were trying to teach me something. I remember my dad, he was wonderful. He had maybe a 6th grade education. Really, that's kind of pushing it because they had to go work on the farm. They didn't have food. Those were very different times. He was born in 1927. But he would try to teach me what he could. And I remember being in the car with him, and he had driven trucks. He was primarily a welder. But the story I love most, I remember him telling me, he goes, okay, now if you're ever going down a hill and your brakes go out, don't pump your brakes, because if you ride those brakes, they're going to go out on you. And if they ever do for any reason, and you're going down a hill in Arkansas, I don't know why I'm going to be in Arkansas on a hill, but he goes, you start zigzagging best you can. First of all, if you're in a standard, you downshift, right? Because that's going to slow you down. But if you're not, if that's not enough, you're downshifting as best you can. He goes, start zigzagging down the hill and just barely catching the edge of the ditch area. And he said, that's going to slow you down. Don't aim that nose of that thing straight down. You gotta clip it, clip the edge of it, and just start to zigzag. I guess it's like skiing. Are you downhill full force, or you're doing the back and forth to slow you? And I just love that, because I don't know that that's something I would ever need, but my whole life I've tried to emulate that and teach my girls. We would be going down the road, and I'd say, okay, what does this weigh station up here mean? If you're a truck driver, what's a weigh station? And we would talk about tractor trailers and the different parts, how they worked, and the fact that they had to pull over and be weighed to make sure they weren't putting too much burden on the roads. Just stupid stuff. But, you know, you want your kids to know things. And I've had so many friends say to me, I can't honestly remember my parents teaching me anything. And I said, I can't remember my parents not. So there are going to be a lot of great things I'm going to be able to share that these fine, fine folks gave me. Little sayings from my mom, saying things always like, well, right's right and wrong's wrong. No matter what but Mom, so-and-so did, right's right, wrong's wrong. You know, these are the guiding forces of my life, hopefully of my children's life. And if there's some of that I can share with you guys, then that's what I want to do. Because again, both my parents were amazing. My mom's still with us. My dad is not. She'll be 89 next week. And, oh, y'all are going to laugh. I would say everybody needs to go on my mom's Facebook and put happy birthday, but she has like 20 friends on Facebook because she had a few more, and she doesn't, you know, completely understand Facebook. So, like, there was a little gal at church that would put something in her own news feed, and my mom would go, what's up with that girl putting all that stuff on my Facebook? And I was like, Mom, she's not putting anything on your Facebook. She's just posting, and she's your friend, so you're seeing it. She goes, yeah, well, you need to get her off there because she puts too much stuff on my Facebook. So maybe we won't post and overwhelm her with the happy birthday wishes. You know what we'll do? Maybe next week we can have a day and y'all can all post on my Facebook happy birthday to my mom, Janine Jordan, and I'll share it with her there, and she'll really appreciate that. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. You really make my day by doing this. And I had someone join me last night. Said they were joining from Fiji. We had France, England, all around, and I'm just humbled and excited to share this with you, and hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.